Andrea DeCruz, Pierre Peng commemorates the 20th anniversary of liver transplant and the love stories of other celebrities. Singapore this Valentine's Day, these local celebrity couples share how they have kept their marriages strong and dealt with curveballs along the way. Theirs is a love story for the ages, one that first captured the hearts of the nation 2 decades ago. On social media, local celebrity couple Andrea DeCruz and Pierre Peng live out a picture-perfect fairy tale, with frequent romantic professions of love on Instagram. But behind the scenes, their happily ever after hung in the balance. In 2002, the former host actress suffered liver failure after taking Slim 10 slimming pills, and the actor donated part of his liver to her. This year, they mark the 20th anniversary of her life-saving liver transplant, as well as their 19th wedding anniversary. Yet, 2022 is also a grim reminder that the clock is ticking, as transplant patients statistically have a 20-year life expectancy post-surgery. The lowest of the lows hit them last November, when she came down with a high fever which persisted for 2 days. Laboratory tests indicated her liver was showing signs of rejection. The dosage of anti-rejection drugs she takes daily was upped, and she was additionally prescribed steroids. Her lab tests are now monitored once every 2 months and, so far, her liver markers are trending in the right direction. DeCruz, this is her official surname, although the media often referred to her as DeCruz, tells the Straits Times, "Every year is a milestone. Yet when each year passes, we know that the graft is closer to expiration. But 20 years ago, I had only days to live, and here we are 20 years on. As 20 rolls by, I've been a lot more accepting. Who is to say how much time anyone has? Case in point, although studies have shown that the average transplant lifespan is 20 years, I'm still celebrating life, although I'm working through a rejection stage as we speak." The 47-year-old, who runs hair salon Sync Studio, adds, "I'd be lying if I said I have no fear. Fear and grief don't go away with time, you just learn to manage them differently." Aside from this health scare and varying degrees of liver rejection over the years, in 2019, DeCruz also experienced an episode of paralysis on the left side of her face, which was diagnosed as Melkerson-Rosenthal syndrome, a rare neurological disorder. Upon further investigation, an aneurysm in the brain was discovered. The condition is currently under control, but she has to go for an MRI every year. PNG, 48, says, "Andrea's health has been highly compromised, and I can't say I've got used to it, but I've learned to cope better. If we've come through that near-death experience 20 years ago, I'm convinced we have the stamina to work through any kink. COVID-19 has complicated matters, so constant vigilance is key." PNG says, "Learning to live with the virus isn't an option for us, but to hope that it will go away is naive. It is a big reminder of how fragile life is. Andrea has to test herself nearly every day. If she is not careful, even a common cold could kill her. Any sign of vulnerability, and it's straight to the hospital." Every May 7th, the day starts with them wishing each other a happy transplant anniversary. It is followed by Thanksgiving prayers and a meal where the conversation, even after 20 years, still ends with us being awestruck at how everything came together. The only difference this year will be the absence of her liver transplant surgeon Tan Kai Chah, whom DeCruz calls "my other rib" alongside Pierre. He died of a heart attack in December, and a sudden passing hit close to home. Every year when May 7th came around, they would text or call each other to reminisce. She says, "We spoke about how quickly time has passed and it'll be 20 years soon. As I say this, I see his grin, stoic and coy as always, but you could sense his pride for all the lives he saved." The couple continue to navigate DeCruz's health battles the same way they plug away at their marriage, a constant work in progress that requires effort where nothing is ever perfect. PNG, who is starring in the Channel 8 drama Home Again, currently airing on weekdays at 9 p.m., says, "We take the good and overlook the bad because the good trumps everything else. We've learned that we each bring something to the relationship. You'd be foolish to think that people can change or function just like you. Be brave to speak about the things that annoy you, but don't forget to share what pleases you. Be liberal about giving credit when it's due. Marriage is a partnership, not a sole proprietorship." DeCruz adds, "Ours is not just a story of love. It's a story of compassion, patience, and sacrifice. The day you think something is perfect is the day you get complacent. That's dangerous. Like any healthy relationship, it takes maturity through time to enjoy the imperfections of each other." So what is the secret to their enduring union? How do they hang in there when things go downhill? PNG says they made vows, not wishes, when they got married. Solid relationships are not free of problems, but they are strong because two people cared enough to make it work. "When we were first in the relationship, death stared Andrea in the face. Thankfully, it blinked first. It was tough, but we both did not give up. When things are rough, we remember the journey that we started and why we fell in love. We have our disagreements on many things, but the one thing that we agree on is to never give up because of a few faults. And how have the lovebirds, who have 2 fur kids, a Shih Tzu and a Poodle, managed to keep the spark alive? A post shared by Pierre Peng. Aside from being extremely supportive of each other's careers, they prioritize working together on causes that align with their religious beliefs as Catholics, their love of animals, and championing the plight of critically ill children. Couple time means watching movies, doing charity work, getting massages, and keeping up with food trends. They also enjoy working on new projects together. Their high last year was the launch of their beach-themed restaurant bar Tipsy Flamingo at Raffles City, Singapore, in partnership with Tipsy Collective last August. While they make it a point to have their wedding anniversary staycation at Raffles Hotel yearly, both feel Valentine's Day itself is overrated. Work and time permitting, they include a single friend in their plans so that he or she does not feel left out of the hype. On a few occasions, they have joined other couples for a February 14th get-together. DeCruz says, "We exchange experiences and listen to their stories, and we end the day unanimously agreeing that every relationship is somewhat the same. The good always comes after the worst." For Mark Lee, the key to a long-lasting marriage is not placing too many demands on your spouse. The local actor-host-director has 3 children: Callista, 13, Maxon, 10, and Callan, 8, with his wife of 23 years, Catherine Ng. Lee, 53, says, "If your partner doesn't meet your high standards, then ultimately, you are the one who suffers. So don't give each other such pressure." Old married couples like to say, "Oh, last time you were not like that," but the past is the past. People's mindsets change with age. After more than 20 years, there will be good and bad things you will discover about each other. The issue is whether you want to accept and get used to it. Ms. Ng, 49, who helps run Lee's various businesses and calls him a loving and responsible father, feels accommodating each other is necessary. She says, "When I'm upset, I will tell myself he's working so hard for the family to give a good life to our children. He's tired and frustrated. I really have to put myself in his shoes. At the beginning of our marriage, I would fight back. Now, after having kids and getting older, I feel this is not the point anymore. So whenever we have disagreements, I will just keep quiet and walk away. After that, we treat it like nothing happened and behave normally. If we keep fighting over and over again, it will not only affect our relationship, but the whole family. I want the children to see their parents in a loving state and they will feel happy. We have to give them a nice and loving environment to grow up in." Lee, who is starring in the Chinese New Year comedy film Reunion Dinner, which is showing in cinemas, feels that managing a marriage is even more difficult than managing a business or career because divorce is not an option. He says, "You go and register a company. If you don't want to continue doing it, you close shop. You go and register your marriage. But you can't just say you don't want it anymore." He adds that for those who get divorced, there may be more headache. How do you split the money, the house, the children? By the time everything is finalized, you'll be like 70 or 80 and exhausted. Why don't you use this time to settle your marital problems instead? When you get married, it's not just a 2-person thing. When you get divorced, it's also not just a 2-person thing. Even though Lee and Ms. Ng acknowledge going through ups and downs when it comes to his finances and career, they are proud to have pulled through together. However, their most daunting challenge to date is dealing with their youngest child Callan's health condition. She was diagnosed in 2018 with glomerulonephritis, which causes inflammation and damage to the kidneys. Even though she has stopped taking steroids, she is still on other medication. She goes for checkups every 2 months, and her doctors do not have an answer on when or whether she will fully recover. Ms. Ng says, "Mark has become more emotional and sensitive, and this has brought us closer. We have to be a strong family to go through this together. We must let Callan know we love her, and we both have to stand closer together and give her the best support." This is why the couple take pains to strengthen their bond every chance they get. A post shared by Catting1313. For instance, whenever Lee goes overseas, whether it is for filming or to attend the Golden Horse Awards last year in Taipei, where he was nominated for Best Actor for the 2020 movie Number 1, he will take Ms. Ng along. She says, "That's what he promised me before we got married. We need to have our own private life, away from the children." He adds, "Callan likes to sleep with us in our bedroom, so there are fewer opportunities at home." Ever the comedian, he jokes, "Cannot la, then I still very strong one la. My wife is Powerpuff Girl too." With time, both admit public displays of affection have fallen by the wayside. Lee says, "Last time I never kiss my wife, she gets angry. But now I never kiss her or forget to, she's okay." But Callan always reminds her parents to be loving and hold hands, even though their teenager, Callista, will cringe in embarrassment. Ms. Ng says their son Maxon is neutral, with Lee quipping, boys got handphone, can already. However, the physical attraction is still there. Mizing continues to be struck by Lee's charm on stage and admits she still gets jealous whenever he receives female attention as the boss of entertainment company King Kong Media Production. She says, with his status now, there are young girls who throw themselves at him. I will tell him off and constantly remind him to watch out for what these people are up to. Lee counters, honestly, I have no interest in them because now, I have daughters. Older women won't take a fancy to me either. The flirting era has already passed. I'm focused on my career and working hard for the family, that is my target. He cites the many examples of celebrity extramarital affairs that we've already seen. He says, my biggest worry is how will I go face my wife and children? If classmates tell my kids, wah, your father has a girlfriend, your father doesn't love your mother anymore. This does major harm to them. Ultimately, the one who will give you happiness may not be a girlfriend, but will definitely be your wife. So does Lee get jealous about Mizing too? It will never come to that, he declares. Because I'm a bang and they know she's my wife, nobody will dare to do anything. If Sui who goes and tackles my wife, he will die until very ugly, he quipped. Back in his Singapore Idol heyday, and at the peak of his career in the years following his 2004 win, Taufik Batista was known to be extremely private when it came to his love life. The singer-actor kept matters of the heart so close to his chest, nobody knew he was secretly seeing Ms. Sheena Akbal. He revealed her identity only weeks before their wedding in 2015, after dating for 9 years. But now that they are celebrating their 7th anniversary in April, he is more open about their marriage than ever before. Scroll through his Instagram account, which has 344,000 followers, and you will come across many sweet tributes to Ms. Sheena, 37, as well as musings on married life. The 40-year-old real estate agent and owner of Chick's Hot Chicken Eatery says, marriage is a constant learning experience, and you have to remind yourself it's a progression and a journey. There will always be a new thing a couple has to tackle as a unit. So, when another conflict happens, you will remember how you grew and learnt from a particular argument. A post shared by Taufik Batista. The couple faced their biggest obstacle early in the marriage, when their first fight led to her leaving their matrimonial home and returning to her parents' place. Ms. Sheena, who handles operations for Taufik's property consultant team, SMDBBB, says, we were still learning about each other's temperament. There was a lot of miscommunication in the beginning and we didn't know how to deal with our emotions. But Taufik takes the blame for the episode. He says, it was over something really silly, like motivating her to work out. I escalated it so much, I didn't realize I was hurting her. It wasn't even constructive anymore. I was attacking her character and it was demoralizing. After taking some time to reassess the situation, he called her, in tears, to apologize. I was really sad about it. We tend to say stupid things mostly to the people closest to us because we take them for granted that they are not going to leave us. Everyone has his or her tipping point, and it was this moment when I realized I can't and shouldn't take her for granted. The years have breezed by since for Taufik and Ms. Sheena, and they remain unfazed that the patter of tiny feet has eluded their union. There was initial pressure from those around them, and Ms. Sheena recounts several invasive incidents when they were out. Random people would come up to me and hold my belly and ask, are you pregnant? And I'd tell them, no, I just had too much to eat at the buffet. She adds, people will talk and that will stress you out. So we block everything else out. The couple are still trying to conceive naturally and are leaving it to God's will and going with the flow. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we're more than all right as well. We understand many couples are probably going through the same thing, and we want to empower them and normalize this. Whatever options there are, whether it's IVF or adoption, you do what you need to make your household and marriage complete. We are not at that point yet and are still enjoying each other. In fact, my brother once told me, enjoy your life now, trust me, says Taufik, whose 2 older brothers have 7 kids between them. The pair, who first met in 2003 through mutual friends and started dating in 2006, love being fools around each other and embarking on new adventures and experiences, like rock climbing, canoeing, and skydiving. They go out once a week for dinner or brunch, or stay in to watch television shows like Cobra Kai and Friends reruns. There is also much give and take. Taufik absolutely hates to walk and would rather run and do things quickly, but he has started to join Ms. Sheena on early morning walks along the beach and will soon try aerial yoga with her. He says, it's about respecting what the other party likes and making an effort to partake. Ms. Sheena shares that although Taufik hardly cooks, when he knows she is feeling low, he will whip up a mean eggs Benedict to cheer her up. For them, communication is vital in sustaining a marriage. Taufik says, I'm very much an introvert. I penned it all up inside. So I'm practicing talking about our problems so we can hash them out. Ms. Sheena agrees. We settle it there and then. we don't dwell or bring it over. Well, have a fight for an hour, and then 5 minutes after, I'm asking him if he wants ice cream. But the icing on the cake for Tawfik, a self-confessed mummy's boy, is how Miss Sheena got along swimmingly with his mother from day one. The trio live under the same roof. He gushes, I'm absolutely in love with my wife and have utmost respect for her. I have found my best friend and life partner, and I absolutely cannot imagine myself with anybody else. I struck gold.